All right, everyone. Welcome to today's AMA. We've got special guests with us here today in the Launch Lounge. Someone who's going to be launching their pre-sale is just right around the corner, and that's Owners Unity. So I want to thank you guys all for being here. I want to thank the Owners Unity team for being here, taking part in innovation on the launch pad, but also being partners of Vault Finance as well, too. Before we get started, I want to let everyone know, as always, that anything we talk about in here is personal opinions. It's not to be misconstrued as any sort of investment advice or financial advice, things like that. You are always privy to be able to ask questions of ourselves as well as those who come do AMAs with us, and you are required to do your own due diligence. We allow these AMAs to be just a great appetizer to help you kind of get a taste for what the company's bringing, and that way you've got something to work with heading into your own research, and definitely with pre-sale right around the corner, and with knowing these guys as well and working side by side with them on a few things. Definitely these are ones you want to take a look at. So with that being said, welcome Owners Unity. Who wants to who wants to come up and represent? Scott?
Yeah, but I'm here as usual.
Sure. How's it going?
Yeah, all good. Full of busy, but looking forward to finally getting up and running.
I know I was talking to someone a month ago, and they're like, "What happened to Owners Unity?" And I'm like, they are preparing, and I know behind the scenes, I know you guys are not sitting on your hands. You guys are actually you guys have actually already been creating revenue streams and all sorts of things, and you guys haven't even launched yet. So um I think a good place to start, I'm pretty sure most of everyone in this room knows who you guys are, but if you guys want to start, just introduce yourselves, maybe talk a little bit about what made you form Owners Unity, and kind of give an overview of what you guys are looking to accomplish.
Yeah, sure. Thanks very much for that, Chris. Hi, everyone. I'm sure a lot of you know me. My name's Scott Shearer. I'm originally from England, but I live in Poland now, just outside Gdansk. I have been involved in construction, started off as a labourer, went up to a ground worker, progressed from there. I worked for a project management software company, quite a large one globally, called 4Projects. Then I also was involved in renewable energy sources. And then I opened a business consultancy in 2013, and I've just been rolling with that since then. I have always, I say always, for a long time, had an idea of how to look to redress the certain balances and inequities that there are in specific markets at the moment with regards to the way that profit is made. I know everyone wants to make profit. It just seems that a lot of revenue is being taken from a lot of people and very little is being returned, and it's got, in my opinion, it's gone too far one way. I thought up the original concept for Owners Unity a long time ago through talking with various friends. I'm sure you lot all speak to your friends that have got mortgages, and it's typical. You have your issues and your complaints around that. Just to give it a bit of background, my friend Shay Taylor bought his first property at 18. He's got multiple properties now. The first property mortgages I remember were 20-year mortgages. Then it went up to 25. Then it went up to 30. I know there's 40-year mortgages out there at the moment. And a couple of years back, the government in the UK started talking about generational mortgages. And I know in certain places in Europe, they have generational mortgages. The system also penalizes people for, quite small faults. It's very algorithmic, and they kind of take the human element out of it. So what we wanted to do was redress the balance slightly. once we came up with the concept, it was then how do we fuel the concept? How do we, keep the concept going? And that's when we built out the business model. The business model was lacking something. There was something missing. And then with the explosion of the DeFi space in crypto, that was the missing piece to the jigsaw, so to speak, and that allowed us to reward people with passive income, provide revenue back to all parties involved in the process. And when that happened, we decided to move forward and actually get this sort of like off the drawing board, so to speak, and put it out there and launch it. So the concept's been around for a long time, but the crypto aspect of it is the pièce de la résistance, so to speak. It's what makes it tick. I'm a maxi when it comes to blockchain and crypto. I want blockchain and crypto to be adopted in mainstream businesses. I think the way that we drive adoption into this space to benefit everyone is to provide tangible benefits to people in a real-time fashion. So most people, as I always say, it's about roof over your head, it's about food on the table, clothing the kids, etc., etc. It's not about staking an NFT and getting a 350% APY for 6 months or anything like that. So we need to produce products that push the envelope forward, that move the space forward and try and fuse the current economic business models with crypto in a way that is innovative and can actually gain some traction, but also work within the current regulations that are out there, because we need to be within the system to actually make changes to the system, so to speak. I've been incredibly blessed and lucky with the team that I have. Fortunately, I've worked with a lot of the people that are on the team and known a lot of people that are on the team for 15 years minimum. The new people on the team have come into the team from the crypto space. They've seen the original vision we've had. They've given us advice, because obviously a concept isn't created whole. We had a basic concept. People have added their ideas, and as any good business should do, we've taken on the people that have shown promise and provided us with ideas that actually move the product forward. We've also got advisors that aren't mentioned, but there are some in this room. So I'll give a shout out to Steve and Phil, for instance. They've also come in with some really pertinent advice, which has helped us grow and helped us steer in the right direction we need to be in. So although it is a business model and I am the figurehead of the business model, so to speak, it is truly a team effort across the board. And if you ask any member of the team or any person that has worked with us and given us advice, they'll tell you that if it's a good idea, we take it on board. And we wanted to make sure that we weren't just, paying lip service like a lot of businesses, projects in this space. I will differentiate ourselves because I think we're a business. But projects come to market, they give you a white paper, give you some information, and then they promise things in the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months. People buy in, but they don't actually, receive anything tangible. We decided after a first couple of AMAs that because our concept was so unique and so new in the space, the type of business model we had, that we had to bring more to the table than just saying, come on board and we'll do X, Y, and Z. So we've gone out and we've done X, Y, and Z, so that now that we're ready to list, we have products in place, we have the utilities in place that have the hybrid capabilities that interact with each other to make the product work, and we're pretty much ready to rock and roll, which is why we're launching now. And I will leave it to, I'm sure there's other members of the team on here that would like to give their piece on who they are. Last thing I will say is all of the people involved in the team have relevant expertise in the relevant fields that we plan to operate in, and all of them have extensive long-term experience in the field. And that is it from me.
Thanks, Scott. Hi, everyone. My name is Roop Raj. I'm known as Golden Hands in DeFi space. I've got more than 14 years of experience into IT. I am basically Amazon solution architect uh, into information technology side. In crypto, I've got more than 5 years of experience. I've had a lot of projects, and I'm an investor in most of the rewards token as well. In Owners Unity, I was one of the initial investors where uh, I came across Scott and obviously got to know about the project. I liked the concept. Then it started. I was one of the initial investors, then started giving ideas to the team, and finally got an opportunity to join the team. So I have joined Owners Unity as the Chief Operating Officer now, working with the team.
Is it just a free for all? Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Professor Chaos. I've been in the space for quite a few years now, 3 to 4. Done quite a bit of marketing, running projects, and just all things generally crypto. I joined Owners Unity back end of last year, and outside of crypto, I'm a tech lead for a fintech bank. And I've worked as a software developer for coming up to about 7-8 years now, so with quite a strong background in finance. And in for Owners Unity, I help out with development and marketing as well.
Evening, guys. My name's Simon Henderson. I live in the northeast of England. Quick background for myself. I did a sports managing degree, never used it, troubleshooted pubs for years for a pub company, traveled the world, came back, ended up being the account manager in a company called 4 Projects. That's where I met Scott. And that's where most of my interlude into this industry became about. After a few years, I left 4 Projects and set up a small company in Durham managing student lets. And then through that, I became a surveyor, worked for a few other estate agencies as chief valuer, and now I own a company in its outright renting and selling properties in the northeast of Durham.
All right, perfect. So I think that's everybody, right?
No, there's one more.
There's one more.
person. Yeah, Dravo needs to say something.
There we go. Let me pull them up real quick.
Good evening, guys, or good afternoon for some of you. Yeah, so I'm Dravo. I've been with Owners Unity from more or less when we first opened the Telegram channel up, which was a year ago now. It seems to have flown by, although in crypto time, that's an eternity, isn't it? My background outside of crypto, I've worked for 40 years in accountancy, and was running my own practice up until when I retired. And outside of that, I am still a businessman because you can never retire from work when you've been an accountant. So I've got my fingers in other things as well, just to keep boredom at bay. In the world of crypto, I've been involved now in crypto for 2 years. And again, that seems to have flown by. In 2 years, I started off on CEX trading because that was the easy way in, as I'm sure everybody thinks the same way. And my first introduction to this kind of space, i.e. the Wild West of DeFi, was SafeMode. We'll say nothing more about that. But yeah, I've just evolved from there, and as I got more and more involved with DeFi and projects, I realised I wanted to be more than simply an investor, that I actually wanted to be more involved in helping projects to go forward and hone things. And I got involved with Owners Unity because I love the vision.
All right, that's great, guys. I know it's been a hot minute, and a lot of people are always they're so anxious to come to market, and sometimes they jump the gun. Sometimes they do it in situations that, like, right before Christmas or something like that, where it's not exactly an ideal time because people have their funds, they're thinking in other places. But you guys have really taken your time. You guys are trying to build a right foundation, and that's something that I admire, and because you guys want to not show up empty-handed. And I say that in a lot of my AMAs. You can't come to market empty-handed, with an empty grocery store and expect to stay open. That mentality has to change and things like that. So I can appreciate all the things you guys are creating. Day one, if you guys want to speak on a little bit about the pre-sale, kind of what you guys are going to have as far as a company day one, and kind of what the outlook of your roadmap, which the direction you guys are looking to go.
Yeah, thanks for that, Chris. I think it's important to remember as well, with the type of business model we have and the areas we want to move in, it's not something that you can go, I'm going to put this together and we should launch it in 3 months. That's just not something that would ever happen. With regards to pre-sale, so when we list, we will have the staking will obviously be available. We will have the CVP, which works in the real world as well as in crypto. So you've got CVP, which is for real world ID, DBS checks, etc. Because nursing, education, employers want people's backgrounds to be checked. But then CVP3 is obviously the web version of the CVP. So we will do verifications through that. We have a partnership with Interfi to provide the audits on that side of things as well. So they're two of the crypto-based options we have. With regards to real world, obviously the CVP I mentioned, but we also have a business consultancy, which is Owners Utility, which primarily its functionality is to deal with business to business contracts, but we've formed partnerships with telecommunications, renewable energy sources, etc. So we can provide the full remit of reducing businesses' variables across that scenario. We also have a content creator platform which is up and running, which is Paul's baby, called Sensation. So that's up and running as well. So we've got multiple real world businesses that are generating revenue. We have multiple crypto utilities that can produce revenue as well. So we're looking to have built a good solid foundation, because businesses globally rely on energy. So even when there's an economic downturn, the revenue generation capability is still there in the initial markets that we've looked to move into, and that offers a bit of additional security. So we're happy with what we've worked on to start with. We formed partnerships with a lot of good, transparent crypto companies that are looking to move in the right direction as well. And we formed real world businesses. So we feel that we've got something to offer to our potential investors. And we've also got a team in America that we call the Four Horsemen, Moon Booty, T-Bot, Lawgiver and Plurts. They all have relevant positions as well in the real world. So Moon Booty works in sales, but he works in the finance side of sales. We have Moon Booty who's as a supply side manager. We have Tyson T-Bot. He's a realtor, they call them in America. And then we have Lawgiver, who is a project manager for large scale renewable energy projects. So they all intertie quite nicely with our vision moving forward. And we've entered into business partnerships in America on the real world side of things, so we can do that there. So we've got a lot ready to go from the moment we launch, and that's on Monday. But those all of you can go check out all the websites now. We've got cost price comparison websites, so it's all accessible, all functionable, and you can go use them all now.
Man, Scott, it sounds like you're building a company. You're not painting a shed or a she shed doing a project. Sounds like you guys are building a real legitimate company.
Yeah, no, that's like I said, credit where credit's due. Had some good conversations with a few people, yourself, Steve, Phil, others, helped us to fully envisage that our business model that we wanted to utilize on one utility was actually a business model that could be utilized in multiple fields. So rather than focus on it being solely for the primary utility that is a passion for us, it can also be utilized in the other fields and benefit even more people, which will then hopefully drive greater adoption into the space. So yeah, we're thankful to have spoken to so many good people.
Well, I think it's great that you guys are really, I would say, compared to a lot of different companies out there, you guys are really focused in the real world space and then tying that into crypto. I was in a space a few days ago and they were talking about how to generate revenue, and they were kind of coming up at straws on how to do those types of things. So it's nice to see that you guys can create real world applicability and tie that into the crypto space as a company. That's one of those things that I talk on a lot. I know you talk on a lot. I know we see eye to eye on exactly how to accomplish those types of things. So it's great to see you guys doing that and creating these tangible partnerships, these tangible results, these real world companies that can produce the revenue, because ultimately that's how you grow your company. That's how you grow, for the investors. That's how bags grow. So let's talk a little bit about the pre-sale. I know you guys already listed on Novation pre-sale. It's coming. Don't miss it. Can you speak a little bit on what that's going to look like for the investor and how they can get involved and how much they can get involved with?
Yeah, sure. I think Lewis, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the pre-sale, as you know, set for the 3rd of April. We're going to have it on Vault. We're looking to raise, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is 170 is what the soft cap is going to be. And we're also, what? 75. Yeah, damn, missed it. Yeah, thank you for the correction there. Yeah, 175 soft cap, and we will have a 350 hard cap. We're also, what we're doing for it is we're having a whitelist as well, and we are looking to give out some of them whitelist spots while we're on here too, which we will do at the end. The pre-sale will run for 72 hours, and then after that we will move on to launch. But yeah, back over to you, Scott.
Yeah, and you know, people who participate, kind of what's the minimum and maximum amounts that they can invest?
Yeah, minimum. We've always tried to encourage as many people to get involved as possible. You know, trying to do things slightly differently. The minimum is 0.5. The maximum is 10. It's something that we want to give everyone the opportunity to jump on board with. There is 2-tiered whitelist. The first whitelist tier 1, you get 800,000 owners Unity tokens per BNB, and tier 2 is 700,000 out per BNB. So we've only given out a few tier 1. Most of the whitelist is tier 2.
Okay, all right, perfect. So you know, we spoke a little bit about the general things and things. Some of the things that I always ask that I feel like investors should ask. So I asked them to kind of help facilitate what some of these questions should be. You guys are actually incorporated, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so you guys are actually a business operating as a business. You're KYC doxed, with what's going on right now and what we just had happen with or what we've seen happen with SafeMoon and some of these other different things that have happened lately with liquidities and hacks and you know, this or that, or who knows what happened. What kind of precautions, or yes, what are the steps you guys are taking to not just ensure quality and safety in your contract, but also that the amounts you guys raise, your liquidity, you know, all of these different things, whatever's in the marketing wallet, all that stuff, that you guys are protecting that as a company from any sort of you know, wolves that are out there or bad actors?
Yeah, absolutely not a problem. I can answer this. Right. So obviously multi-sig is something that you have to do. Just, you know, so we've obviously come out with a V2 version of the contract already. We will be upgrading contracts on a regular basis because technology advances on a regular basis. Multi-sig wallets, we're locking just most of the tokens, and it's an interesting fact that we haven't talked about much is that the maximum supply that will ever be in circulation is between 20 and 22.5%. There will never be more tokens than that in circulation at any one time. So that's something that we don't really talk about. With regards to the KYC, it was done. Interesting story though. It's a funny one, so I'll say it quickly. When we first came out, there was still a company called Reflex. And what happened is we went through the KYC process with them just as they were switching over. I think I might have wound Raymond up a bit. I don't know why. But as they switched over, we went through the original process, but then they put us forward to Anonydox. Anonydox did the basic criminal background check, etc. on me. Then I said to them, you know, being a haggler, I said, well, if you're going to do one, can you do most of the core team? Chuck it all in there. And so they did 5 other members of the core team. That was all we had as a core team at the time. So we all went through that process. Then we got the gold certificate from Reflex with regards to all of the processes that we've been to. Contracts obviously audited by Interfi. We are looking to also put our contract into a third-party contract position. We're still negotiating about that because some of the goalposts have possibly been moved, not on our side, I hasten to add. But we spoke to Everrise as soon as we started about locking the contract with them, because we believe that the community should be involved at all stages. At the end of the day, it's your investment. So if we're going to make changes, we should come to you guys and speak to you guys about the changes that are going to be made. If you guys agree to it, then we can go back to Everrise, say we've taken the vote and it's been approved. If you guys don't approve it, then it can't be done. So that won't be an issue. We want to lock the liquidity in perpetuity because as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason to go back into the liquidity pool. So we're looking to lock that indefinitely. We was advised by GenPad to lock it for 12 months to start with, and then after the 12 months to review it and see where we go from there. But we've got multiple areas in our tokenomics that actually send additional funds into the liquidity pool. So we're pretty confident of holding the floor there. And I can't talk about it, otherwise Lawgiver will send people to knock on my door. But in the next, I think it's end of Q2, Q3, it won't even be a talking point with our project because we are pushing the envelope forward and we're working on things behind the scenes that will change the way that businesses hopefully garner funds in this space. I can't say anything more than that, but we're looking to drive the space forward and move it into, you know, the real world scenario. And to do that, like I said, you've got to look at ways to fuse crypto and real world businesses together, and that's the process that we're in at the moment.
Okay, and you guys, I would assume with the partnership with InterFi, you guys have your audit through there as well too.
Yeah, all of our stuff's been audited. All the contracts are audited. You can go on the InterFi GitHub and have a good look through and see what the reports say. All of our coding's on there as well.
All right, perfect. Yeah, right now, that's just a really big subject that people are talking about is safety in this space. You know, investors have to worry about their investment, whether they're going to make money in the first place. And you add on the whole thing behind the scenes, whether liquidity gets drained or this or that, or, you know what I mean? And it just becomes a big mess for investors. So it's good that you guys are taking multiple steps to ensure safety. Multi-sig wallets, we do the same thing at Vault. They are a big pain in the butt. I take every opportunity to say that they are a pain to get multiple signatures to get even a dollar moved. But, you know, those are safety features. Those are checks and balances, you know, keeping people accountable. So, you know, they're there for that reason. And that's a good enough reason. That is the reason to be doing that, no matter how tough it is. So those are all really good fail safes there. As far as I want to give you guys the opportunity before we, you know, allow you guys to you know, jump on the grill and get grilled a little bit. Anything else you guys want to specifically let the investors know? I mainly wanted to make sure that they knew who you guys were, that you guys are showing up not empty-handed, that you guys have revenue streams that you're producing, where they can go to pre-sale. If they want to buy tokens when you guys launch, it's important for them to know where they can go do that and invest. And also some of the safety features of what you guys are going to be doing. Is there anything else you guys want to add about Owners Unity?
Yeah. With regards to security, certainly from the property side of the angle, you know, with running my own estate agency here, you know, I have to be ICO registered. And I think the ICO is like, I suppose it's the UK's independent authority, which has been set up, how do you put it correctly, I suppose, to uphold the information rights in the public interest, and promoting the openness. So you're fully covered with regards to that. Then you've got the NRLA, which is the National Residential Landlords Association. And you have similar things over there in the US and varying other countries. You got the Property Redress Scheme, which secures you from the money laundering side. You got WorldPay, so I've got to be certified and pass all the things for that. WorldPay, it's just a banking app, really, isn't it? It's a portable machine to take monies. So you have to be fully doxed in every avenue that you do to safeguard monies, not just from this world, but from the real world.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. I think it's important to understand that we are fully compliant in the fields that we operate in. We plan to be fully compliant moving forward. Will there be bumps in the road? Of course, there's always bumps in the road. But we are looking to change the system from within the system. With regards to security, we are taking as many measures as we can. But as I say to anyone, and if anyone's been on an AMA with me before will know that I say this, nothing is 100% secure. All we can do is look to put as many security options in place to protect you guys. You know, we've got supposed anti-whale mechanisms, as in you can only sell so many tokens. It's 0.002%, 0.02%, sorry, of the maximum supply. There's a short time delay between sales of 45 minutes. So we've put things in to try it. So if there was an exploit, for instance, hopefully it would give us time to get in and try and make changes if necessary. Your guys' security is obviously key. I wish I could say more, but we're working on things in development, like I said, that hopefully will be launched by end of Q2, Q3, that will negate 100. I can actually say this will negate 100% of liquidity pool issues. So that's something that's being worked on at the moment. But we're just bringing to the table a product that gives the opportunity for you guys to invest and make some money. There is some short-term gains that can be made, but it's mainly long-term. I won't lie to you. If you're looking to become a millionaire in the next week or so, that's not going to happen with Owners Unity. But outside of that, we keep abreast of what's happening in the market and make sure that our product will be as secure as possible.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, if you guys are open to it, I know that we have probably a few people in the space that want to ask a couple questions. Or is that good with you guys?
Always good for questions.
Okay, I think the first one I saw with their hand up was Aaron. Did you still have a question you wanted to throw out there?
Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning me. I have 5 questions, in fact, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chris and Das and company.
Yeah. Can we do them one at a time?
Absolutely. Okay, so my first question is staking, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because in the United States, the SEC has been becoming a bit more stringent towards crypto in general, but especially staking. So my question with this one is, in light of this, with their attitude towards staking/staking as a service, will there be any form of receipt or documentation of gains made from staking Owners Unity? As in, if I stake on your platform or some other way, will you have like some kind of thing that says you made X amount of money from this? Because they're really getting kind of funky on the taxes. They're treating staking as income. So that's a big question I definitely wanted to get out there.
Yeah, no worries. I can answer that, bud. I think someone's going to have to kick the SEC up the arse, to be fair, because other countries are just looking at what the SEC is doing and are just saying, crypto, come here, we'll take care of you. And then, America's going to be left behind and it will be too late. But with regards to our staking dApp, if you go on our site and look at our staking dApp, already on there, it should have a rewards section. If it's not on there, then it will be on there. So part of the dApp will entail actually showing you what you've staked and what your rewards are. If there is additional information that needs to be had, then we will need to add that for the American market. But the product that we've built out is intended to be for global use.
That's very wonderful, actually. I mean, as long as it says, okay, you've made X amount in total, that's more than enough because they're not really looking at like, I mean, they tax it at the time that you receive it. But if like you have a total value, like, okay, you made $1,000 in rewards, as long as that's some kind of a documentable paper trail that I can use on my taxes, that's more than sufficient. It's just, like I said, they're getting kind of funky now. So when I'm looking at investing now, I'm not just saying, oh, wow, this looks cool. Now I'm looking at what's my tax obligation because they are getting stringent. But this is going to segue into my second question. Will there be usable documentation provided to investors for the purposes of paying taxes in general? Like you've mentioned multiple revenue streams for income. Will those also provide documentation for tax purposes?
That's a great question. We are currently working on a DAP that will give you access to all of the revenue that enters the blockchain from cradle to grave. So from point A to point Z, as soon as the revenue comes into, let's take the business consultancy, for instance. So let's just keep it simple. We do £1,000 sale. Obviously, the £1,000 comes in, but it's not the full £1,000. You then take out the running costs, and let's just say you're left with £500, or dollars to keep it simple. That $500 would then be visible on the DAP, and then you would be able to watch as that went through the process of our tokenomics through to the rewards distribution, and that would, to us, would be the end of the cycle. So, you know, the whole idea is we need to put together a system that shows the advantages of blockchain, which is obviously transparency and security are two of the biggest points. So we need to start building out dApps that actually provide that information for you guys, and obviously that can then be utilized with the APIs for tax purposes. Obviously, where it's in development, you've got to work out the tweaks of, you know, uploading all the currencies and working out the different tax requirements and that. So a basic version will be up and running a lot sooner than, you know, a fully equipped version that's going to be able to interchange between all of the different countries and currencies and the tax laws. But that's something that we're definitely driving towards.
Wonderful. Okay, and here's question number 3. How is passive income rewarded? Is it in BUSD or some other stablecoin?
Well, at the moment, it's BUSD. There is the option, obviously, to switch it out. But because we were on Binance Chain, we chose BUSD. But we listen to the community. If you guys say to us, we should have a vote on which rewards come in for which passive streams, then we'll take a look at it, and then you guys can decide whether you're happy with BUSD or if you want to choose a different option.
Okay, here's question number 4. Given your diverse backgrounds and professional careers, one of whom being an agent of a bank, if I heard correctly, will Owners Unity have any sort of debit card or fiat integration on or off ramp?
We're partners with Ember, if that helps on one of your questions. The other question is I don't know how much I can give away, but we're working with Chris, and Chris introduced us to a partner of theirs that deal with debit cards that we are talking with, but nothing is 100% nailed on. And as Chris or anyone that's heard me in AMA before will tell you, if it's not 100% confirmed, I won't say so. But we're pretty optimistic that we will have the same options as any good business would have, especially in our field, because we need a card, because we want people in the real world to gain passive income from holding the card, which then is a tangible benefit, which then hopefully makes them come and look at crypto and blockchain, brings them into the safe space of the good projects, and then they spread the word and the space grows for everyone and drives adoption.
Amazing. And finally, my 5th question. Concerning the whitelist you mentioned earlier, with the whitelist guaranteed by the Novation Lifetime NFTs, will such a whitelist be tier 1 or tier 2 concerning the Novation Lifetime NFTs?
Yeah, pretty much for that one. Yeah, pretty much for that one, Scott. They're just wanting to know the ones that are set aside for Novation, if those are tier 1 or tier 2.
Tier 1.
Sweet. That's all of my question for now. And if I recall correctly, Mr. J had a question. I saw his hand up earlier.
Yep, he's up next. Go ahead, Jay.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. My first question is, as far as the whitelist or pre-sale, how long will the people on the whitelist have time until it's up or until it's open to the public, or is there nothing like that?
No, there is going to be a time limit on it. It's something that we need to decide on shortly. I'm of the camp, because people are in different time zones around the world. It's not really fair making people get up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Although if they want it enough, they should. But I'm more leaning towards having it 25 hours to let everyone have the opportunity. Other people want it to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So we'll have that decided by close of play tomorrow, and we'll update everyone based on that.
Can I just jump in and add to that as well? For the tier 1, because they are receiving a different amount of tokens, we will have a different process for that as well, which we'll also announce a bit later or soon.
Awesome. Can I ask my next question, or?
Of course, buddy.
Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you. So my next question is, and I'm going to ask this question to everybody who launches on Novation. It's not just something I came out with out of nowhere. But what I really want to know is if you guys are going to be using Pulse. And obviously, Pulse is not a token, so it doesn't matter if you buy in today or tomorrow, whenever it launches. I apologize. When it launches, whether you buy the first day it launches or the 10th day it's in launch. Will you guys be using Pulse for your Cryptos Unity to profit or help out with taxes in the future, or give out to benefits to your holders of some sort?
Yeah, that's a great question. As far as we're concerned, it's a community choice. It's something that benefits the community. It impacts your revenue. Therefore, the community will be asked. If the community votes yes, then we will. If the community votes no, then we won't.
And that is one of the requirements for a business being able to do business with Pulse, Jay, is that they have to have the consent of the investors. So if they have the majority consent of the investors, then they can. So that's absolutely proper of Scott to do it that way. But as it is, it's going to be up to the investors if that's something that they cumulatively see valuable for the company.
Totally
And
understand. Thank you guys.
Yeah, I did not know that either, by the way.
I'm good with questions. Thank you.
Okay. All right. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. If you are the shy type, you can always type it in the chat as well too, and we can get around to you and make sure that we answer any sort of questions you might have. One, I guess since they don't have one, I'll have one. With what's going on in the environment with the SEC and all this stuff, and them coming after Binance, because I kind of feel like Binance is one of the strongest ones out there. So they're really just throwing dirt at them. But what are you guys doing to posture yourself to be prepared if there is regulation that changes or something sweeping that comes across that other countries decide to take on as well? Is there anything you guys are doing or any avenues you guys are asking questions in to just kind of make sure you guys are in front of a situation if it was to come up like that?
Yeah, hi, that's a great question. Thanks very much for asking. There's a couple of people in this room whose names I won't mention, but one of them I had a call with a couple of days ago, and he is on regulation. He was actually reading a document on regulation for a specific product when I called him to speak to him. So good people are proactive and not reactive. So we believe there should be regulation. I know everyone wants DeFi to be this space where, you know, we can do what we want without the man, you know, or the corporations or the institutions, you know, doing their thing to keep us down. But the reality of life is that to change a system, you need to do it from within. The people who are here in this space are the people that should be assisting in creating the regulations if needed, so that we can make sure that there is no overreach from people who only want to harm the space instead of helping it flourish and grow. So I've spoken to, like I said, a couple of people that are in this room, someone who isn't in this room. We've got people that we have as advisors that aren't on our website, that work in you know, the financial sector. With regards to the SEC, you've got to be prepared to meet them at their front door. So we already had a conversation with a specific person about what we can do to make our product compliant with the current laws and legislations, and also be in a position that if additional regulation is going to be rolled out, which it is, let's none of us lie here, we are going to see more regulation come in this space. We hope to be in a position where it's a very slight ripple instead of a massive tsunami upon our business model. So in the UK, I speak to the FCA, which is the Financial Conduct Authority, with regards to the business model, so that we know we're good there. Interesting, I know I come up with these stories. I called the FCA to run through what we needed to put in our documents to make us compliant, and they palmed me off to 4 or 5 different departments before this chap came back on the phone and said, oh, just read the document and read these sections. So they truly have no idea what to do with us. Okay, so they're just gonna butcher the whole space. So we have expertise in this field. There are some very good people and some very clever people already in this space. So instead of saying, you know, we need to fight them, what you need to do is fight them, but play them at their own game. So get in the game and actually make a difference. You can't influence the game from the sidelines.
Yeah, and that's actually a really important point, because a lot of people, I kind of feel like we don't have a lot of people anymore in this well, I'm not going to say in this world, because I can't speak for other countries, but a lot of people in the United States have become very pacifist in the way that they conduct themselves, and in a new Wild West, a new, you know, frontier like crypto and how it's expanding, you know, everyone in this room, I will say, has the responsibility to help it go in the right direction. And if they don't, the governments will definitely get involved. So legislation will have to happen. They'll have to draw guidelines here and there, but that doesn't mean that we can't self-police. That doesn't mean that we can't conduct ourselves properly, that we can't you know, have a code or a set of what's acceptable and what's not, because the investors get to choose that. If all of them stand up and go tomorrow and say, nope, we're not investing in anything again unless it has blank audit to it, then guess what? That's the only way us companies will be able to move forward. So it's, you know, you guys are the driving force, and all of us have to take part. All of us play our roles in that to push that. And so it's not just us as a company trying to pioneer, trying to innovate, trying to push and grow this space, make it better, you know, leave it better than how we found it. It really takes everyone in this room, takes the investors, takes everybody to accomplish that. So That's something that I admire about you guys too, because from the beginning, you guys are trying to do the right thing, trying to operate professionally, transparently as a company, and do business the way that a company should. So all of those things are great. Are there any other questions from the crowd?
I think I might bite actually. I'm generally very satisfied with all the responses, and I definitely feel like this project will be a successful one, in my honest opinion. Honest opinion. Really, I'm struggling on questions right now, but I think I'll try to. Will Owners Unity branch out to other newer blockchains like the upcoming Vulcan blockchain or since you mentioned eco or environmental stuff, will there be any kind of outreach to, say, the Kyoto Protocol with their blockchain? Because they are very green energy oriented themselves.
Yeah, that's a great question. All I can say is we've already had talks with some other blockchains, but until it is signed off on, we won't be saying which ones.
Fair enough.
But yes, we want to be the whole idea. If you look at our business model and the type of business model we have, we want to be multi-chain. We want to bring the whole of the space forward if possible, and it takes time. So like I said, we're not planning on being here for the short time. We want to work with other great projects and companies in the space. There's a lot of good businesses in this space. You've got Anonydox, you've got Assured DeFi, for instance, two absolutely outstanding companies in the KYC space. Obviously, you've got Y5, who we are also partnered with. We're not partnered with Assured DeFi and Anonydox, although I wouldn't mind getting partnerships with those guys. We are partnered with Y5. We're obviously partnered with Vault. We're partnered with Interfi. We're partnered with Dive Wallet. We're partnered with MKF. There are other projects we're partnered with too. And we don't just choose partners just so we can say we've got lots of partners. All of those partners add value to our product, and we are hoping we can add value to their product. So both sides bring something to the table. Like I said, there are other projects I would love to reach out to and form partnerships with, because these products that they have also have real world utility. So what we need to do is, we can't do it on our own. We can't do it on our own. We need to coalesce around an ethos, which most of the people I have spoken to have the same outlook and outview on where they want this space to go and what they want it to do. And we need to work together, because there is enough to go around. I know we're educated to think you've got to crawl as much as you can into your belly. You don't have to. There's enough to go around and to sustain everyone. So we don't need a wallet. Dive Wallet has a great wallet. We'll use their wallet. We don't really need, we don't need a serverless DEX. Novation has a serverless DEX. So we, Launchpad. Do we realistically need a Launchpad? No, we don't need a Launchpad. So we're partnered with people that hopefully we can add value to them by what we do and bringing people into the space. And then obviously project their products into a larger market, and therefore bringing greater revenue for them, which then helps all of you guys. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, most of you guys are invested in more than one project in this space, and the projects are all intertwined with each other, because good projects look at other projects and say, I don't want to steal your space. What I want to do is work with you to benefit the space. And that's how everyone I've spoken to is like-minded, and that's how we're looking to build out the space and move it forward.
That is an amazing answer. Concerning your partnership answer, I do have another question. I'm sorry for bombarding you with so many questions. I'm the Riddler, you see. But is Pay It Now token one of the projects you thought about, given that they have or are trying to implement a real world utility in the form of retail software / hardware that you can integrate and use crypto to pay for real world purchases? Is Pay It Now one of these considerations?
They're not that I wouldn't talk to them. It's just because I haven't got round to it. I think Ember, who we already partnered with, are looking to do a similar thing. I think the debit card company that we're looking at through Chris is also looking at the same thing. But we will partner with anyone that adds value to us and that we can add value to. And all of these systems are designed to operate in specific spaces, which is what I like about it. So if they're out there and I can talk to them, then I'll have a chat and we'll see how we can benefit each other.
Sweet.
Quick question about the credit card you speak of. Is there any info you can give us about it?
Chris could. I've had discussions with them. I think we've had really good discussions, and I think we've got what I would call is a tacit agreement that we will work together moving forward, but we haven't formally said, let's announce this or anything. So all of the discussions I've had around debit cards have been specifically with Chris and the chap at this one company, who I think they are your partners, Chris, to be honest. I think you guys have already declared your partnership. But the type of card they have is perfect for what we do. And, we want to put forward a couple of suggestions on how the card would benefit not only us as a business, but broaden their appeal to other sectors that they probably haven't considered.
Yeah, there's Jay's trying to get to you to get the answer. But the card, we actually have an agreement with who we're working with on that. We're kind of keeping them in our back pocket, keeping it quiet who they are. But that's some conversations that me and Scott have had about it, and exactly I think the reason why we haven't exactly had a full-on drawn-out contract or anything yet is because we're still kind of implementing on our end. But that's about to be done with here shortly, and at that point there's a lot of different directions we want to go with it. And seeing where we overlap and what you guys are doing too, we want to incorporate that as well. That way we can both benefit from it. We can push a phenomenal product with that debit card, and be able to add some little bells and whistles, some nice little benefits in there to sweeten the deal for everyone. So as that comes out, we will drop the answer to that. But just hang tight just a little bit longer, and we'll start putting some of those answers together.
Killing me, Smalls.
And all right, any other questions?
I have a most uncomfortable question, and it's just only because of what's gone on. And I apologize. I'm not trying to wish you guys any downfall or any bad ill will or anything mean at all. I just want that to come out. But if you guys, for some reason in the future, you guys hit a roadblock that you can't get over, or something happens and you have to close up shop, have you guys thought of that? And who could possibly take over, or how you guys would work that out? We've seen Chris help out Reflex, and I'm not saying he's your number one guy to go to, but I'm just wondering if there's something like that you guys have not in play, but have you guys thought about that at all?
Yeah, that's a great question. Of course, we've thought about it. Any business that doesn't think about every eventuality is they're doing a disservice to their investors. So with us, we helped Stacked out, for instance. We got our CVP was basically Stacked AVS. We got some flack for taking it on, but we took it on. We've taken on the investors from Stacked that wanted to come over to us. and we've provided them with tokens, and they now also get the benefit of the rest of our business model. So with that in mind, our business model is kind of unique, because if you look at what we have multiple real world businesses. So for us to collapse and fail, there would have to be catastrophic real world black swan events. So the whole energy industry would have to go down. The whole housing industry would have to go down. There's other industries that we're moving into that I can't tell you that we're going to be building out utilities for. But basically, civilization would have to go under for us to fold. And I don't say that lightly. I say that based on the fact that if the housing industry went under, we would still have the energy industry. If the energy industry went under, we would still have the other industries that I can't tell you about now. So there would have to be a domino effect. Worst case scenario, so for instance, say the property management company failed, we have it in our contracts that the people that have been in situ in the properties over 5 years, because you can't just give houses away to people that have been in a house for 6 months, but after they've been in situ in the property for 5 years, if the property management company went over, the houses would then be signed over to the client in situ. So that safeguards them from being evicted. With regards to the energy side of things, if 4 suppliers went down, so we lost a percentage of our client base, the way that the energy industry works is contracts are instantly then taken on by a different supplier. So it's really difficult for us to fall down on that aspect. But if everything went under and we lost everything, then we would reach out to our partners first. But what we would try to do is segregate each part of the industry that we are involved in. So, and then provide it to those people. So if we had people that were utilizing, the launch pad aspect of what we want to push people towards, then we would be pushing people towards Chris anyway in that aspect. If, we had to part with our CVP, then hopefully Jonah would take over that for the people involved. But these are, there's good people out there. So we have a plan in place. We feel that the way that we're structured, it would be difficult for us to get there. But if we did get there, we would separate the different parts of the business and pass them to the people that are best prepared to do what is right and provide a good service moving forward for our investors.
Awesome, thank you. Sorry for asking that question, but it's a lot of places go down, and I just curiosity. That's all. Sorry.
No, it's a good question, and people need to know that companies that you put your trust in and you put your money with, that they have a plan for every eventuality. So it's a perfectly acceptable question. It's a good question.
I think I will.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. I was going to follow up with that question with another contingency-oriented question, because depending on which media you watch, there are some medias that are pushing a worst-case scenario doom and gloom situation with World War III, possible nuclear arms usage. In the event of nuclear weapon usage in World War III, and I hate to go into that territory, but it is a possible reality. Supposing this hopefully unlikely event occurs, what contingency would the energy sector have on your guys' end, or any end really, because I imagine all sectors would be affected by an EMP blast? What contingencies would be in place to keep this, shall we say, going?
Yeah, that's another great question. I suppose if it comes to the grid going down, the grid's going down. It doesn't matter what contingency plans you have. If we're focused solely on relying on electrical circuits and there's a massive EMP blast or catastrophic damage to the infrastructure, it's nothing can save it. That's just something that we all have to accept. But we, funnily enough, believe in renewables. So if you've got biomass, I can't go into detail about the directions we're moving in, but there's you know, if you've got a biomass power station, for instance, they're not massive. You know, we're not talking, you know, something that's going to power 5 cities or anything like that. And you're making the pellets in situ that are going to be used from specific types of refuse. Then if the grid goes down, but you're not on the grid, you're just attached to the grid, but all of your services are in a closed system with a single conduit that leads to and from, you know, traditional circuitry, etc. Then you have a certain amount of protection against that, like I said, because you can create your own pellets from refuse. You can fuel up the biomass burner, which produces electric and it produces gas, by the way, reduces CO2 emissions, and then you can obviously continue to power your little section of the world. And there's also water power, obviously. You know, if the grid's down, but you are run off, you know, water power, you know, hydroelectric, then it's really not a problem. Lawgiver, like I said, he works in the sector of renewables and he works on capital projects. Barry McGinn, who we haven't mentioned, works in capital projects. He's an advisor. He currently works on Neom City and the Red Sea project out in Saudi Arabia. There's lots of ways to protect people moving forward. As is today, if World War III happens in the next 2 to 5 years, we're all knackered. But if it happened 15, 20, 30 years down the line, hopefully Owners Unity, along with other businesses that see a good way of doing business moving forward, will have put their ideas in place that will have these secure locations and these closed systems that will be able to, you know, survive even the harshest conditions that we force ourselves into. But again, it's, you know, we can have these dreams and these ideas. We've got to test it, put it into practice, and if anything goes wrong before then, it doesn't matter.
Thank you for answering that strange question from left field. I just wanted to see what your thought process was, and I am thoroughly impressed. Thank you.
You're welcome, bud. We've thought out a lot. Honestly, this is what I'm trying to say. We're not going to make you. We're not going to make you rich overnight. We're the kind of business model that we want to put in place. We want it to be a game changer. We want it to drive blockchain and crypto adoption. Make sure that your average person knows the difference between blockchain and crypto would be a start, but then move the whole question forward of what we can do and show that, you know, if you use renewables in the right way, you can actually make a great difference. Not the whole CO2 thing is another issue, but the reason for switching to renewables is for security. Because if you have a national grid that's based solely around an electrical system, and that electrical system, you know, gets damaged, then you have massive blackouts. And once you have the blackouts, you get the supply side failure, etc. And you know, it's a domino effect. So we need to look at alternatives, put things in space for the long term, and if we can wedge open the door slightly and just let there be a little sliver of light, enough for one or two like-minded individuals to run their business models through as well, then on the other side, it's going to turn from a trickle into a pour. And when people realize they're losing their market share, because let's remember, this is a business idea. The whole idea is to provide a service that offers people hope, offers people the ability to increase their annual spend from their revenue instead of having so much dead money. And therefore, they will come to a business model like ours because it offers them greater security, the ability of emancipation. It raises the floor on the poverty levels. If you've got products like that are out there, you're going to garner a larger portion of the market share. If other companies don't want to lose out to you, they then have to change their ethics and their business practices, and that returns the power to the consumer. And at the end of the day, there are far more consumers than there are corporate directors. So let's redress the balance slightly, but in a way where everyone profits, everyone makes a little bit of something instead of everything just going one way. Let's not be greedy. There's no need to be greedy. Let's all improve our lives by raising other people up instead of, walking over people to get where you're going.
All right. I think Steve had a question, comment. You want to go ahead and jump on there, Steve?
Yeah, no problem. How's it going, Scott?
All good, bud. How are you?
Yeah, living my best life, thank you. Just quick one, just for obviously people who are on the AMA, and it's a question I ask 100% of projects where I'm looking to invest in personally, is what is the goal for Owners Unity to get out of DeFi? What's the roadmap to get out of this niche tokenomics, 1,000 people maximum as holders? What is Owners Unity vision to get out of that kind of stagnant pool of people just circulating money we seem to operate in, this kind of tokenomics niche place? That's a question.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. That's a great question. I think with us, the whole idea is to push the envelope and move the space forward. We don't see ourselves as a DeFi project. We see ourselves as a real world business that is utilizing the best technology out there, which is blockchain and crypto, to present a real world business model that provides tangible benefits to everyday people. And that will drive the adoption, which will bring more people into the space, grow the space. By growing the space, everyone in the space benefits, because there will be more eyes on projects. If there's more eyes on projects, there'll be more investments in projects. If we move blockchain and crypto into the light, so to speak, then other businesses seeing our business practices will offer products similar to us, which means they will utilize the very technology that can move the whole space forward. And that will, again, grow our recognition, broaden the visibility of the space as a whole, and bring more people on board. We are a business. We're not a project. We are a business. We operate a business model. That business model is designed to generate revenue, generate profits. We then redistribute those profits back to our investors. We redistribute those benefits also back to the client. So everyone involved in our product receives a return on their monies, which reduces the amount of dead revenue that they spend. So they then have more income elasticity. So they have the ability to utilize more services. They can purchase, more products, and that then again should stimulate the economy and add to growth. That's what this business is about. We're not a project. We are a business. We will generate profit. We just choose to generate profit by using the profit by volume. So rather than have 100% of 5% of the market share, we would rather have 75% of 12% of the market share. We are still a business. We're still out to make money. But like I've said, we want to make money by growing the space, bringing more people into the space, educating people so that they don't have a bad experience when they get here, which is obviously key as well. We need to, clean the space up a bit. And we do that with, the other good people that I've already mentioned, and just drive the space forward. And I think that benefits everyone. And that's what we plan to do.
No, that's great. And I love the way you're actually clarifying that you are a business, because, projects, what I do with the kids of the weekend, and it's good to see you're actually treating it like a proper business as opposed to a project, so to speak. So yeah, no, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Any other questions for the Owners Unity group, I want to be respectful of y'all's time because I know if you're like me, you're constantly pounding the streets, and I know you guys are about to come into your pre-sale and all that kind of stuff. So I know you guys are all hands on deck. Any other questions that have come up for these guys? All right. Well, I think this is a good stopping point right here. I want to thank you guys. We'll get some final words from you guys here real quick. Pre-sale is going to happen on the 3rd. That is Monday with Novation. So be prepared for that. Those of you that are Launchpad NFT holders that want to get involved with Owners Unity, DM me directly, and we can get you guys taken care of. And other than that, Scott, anything else you want to add in closing?
Yeah, Chris, thanks for having us, and thanks for you guys for attending and listening to what I had to say. Read our white paper. We've also come out with a series of short educational videos. They're 2 minutes long that break down the individual aspects of the business model. If you don't want to read the white paper, but the white paper goes into detail. Come over, ask as many questions as you want. We are a long-term business that has a long-term roadmap that is looking to move DeFi and blockchain into a place where everyday people realize the absolute blessing that blockchain and crypto can be. We all know what crypto and blockchain can do. We're all committed to what crypto and blockchain can do. All we need to do is we need to have the courage of our conviction and step out of the little world that we've built for ourselves and present it to the world and say, this is what this can do. It's not what you see in the news. This is what actually happens. This is how blockchain helps. This is how crypto helps. And by doing that, we benefit everyone. And that to me is the goal. So thanks for listening. And we answer as many questions as you got. So come into the space, ask what you want. Don't be afraid. You'll get an answer from us.
All right, perfect. And then in conclusion, how many were you guys looking to give away a whitelist spot?
That's Lewis. That is
So
Lewis. That's your remit.
we can give away 10 whitelist spots. Okay, do you reckon, Scott? I'd say 10's a good number. We could
I think that's fair for this crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had some really good questions. It's been great to actually be here and just have this much engagement. So yeah, we will give 10 whitelist spots up for grabs.
All right, awesome. Well, that is definitely a real treat for sure. So what we'll do is we'll let if you guys would like, we can let them reach out directly to you if you want, or we can have them reach out to me.
If you want to pick 10 from your side, and then what we'll also do is for the people who don't get it, please make sure to join the community. We are going to be giving more out as well through various events up until the pre-sale too. So don't worry if you don't get one on this chance on this AMA. You will have loads of opportunities up until pre-sale as well.
Okay, so perfect. What we'll do is if you are a Launchpad NFT holder, DM me, let me know that you are and that you're looking to get involved. If you are not an NFT Launchpad holder, but you do want to have an opportunity at one of these that they're giving away, DM me as well. And we'll go ahead and set up a little drawing for it, and I'll pass those over to you guys at Owners Unity. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Definitely on behalf of the community, thank you guys for that, because that's a great opportunity for some of those listening right now. So With that, I'll go ahead and close the space up. Remember, follow Owners Unity on Twitter, follow them on Telegram, ask questions, do your due diligence. These guys make themselves readily available, so feel free to join their community, ask questions, get answers, all those things, because the pre-sale's coming up here very quickly on Monday. So it'll definitely be important for you to do your due diligence and get the answers you need so you can make your decisions. And with that, thanks a lot, guys, and thank you for the community showing up. We had almost 90 in here in the room, so I definitely appreciate everyone who showed up and wanted to hear about these guys. So and I will have the recording here out shortly. All right. So, all right, you guys, thanks for showing up, and we will be talking to you guys soon.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Can I just clarify something, Chris?
Go ahead.
I think, was it Aaron that asked earlier if a specific type of NFT holder would get tier 1 anyway?
Yes, that was me. I was asking about the whitelist for the NFT lifetime holders, of which I believe there are 10 of those. I was definitely one of the ones asking.
Then you all of you guys, if you want them, will get a tier 1 whitelist as stated, and you can give away the whitelist spots if anyone else wants them. Chris, I just wanted to clarify and make sure there was no confusion on that point.
Thank you for your generosity.
Chris,
all right. All right, perfect. All right. Well, we definitely appreciate our partners over at Owners Unity. I know for Vault Finance, we're really pleased with how you guys have been coming along. I know you guys are a bunch of great guys, and we're really happy to see you guys come to market and to also be a part of innovation as well too. So all of those things, if you are an investor, if you're involved with Owners Unity, definitely bend their ear about Pulse. If that's something that's something that you guys want to see them do, and follow these guys if you don't already, and they'll be in the market here very soon. So we're really looking forward to that getting up and going, and we'll go ahead and close the space down. It's great AMA, guys. So thank you all for coming.
Cheers. See you later.
Thanks.
Thanks, bye.
No.